Rivals.com National Signing Day special here, off and running, braving monsoon conditions outside. Hopefully we'll be mildly entertaining. We're definitely going to be highly caffeinated by the end of the day. Already 3 big commitments to talk to you about alongside Woody Wommack and Rob Cassidy. I'm Nick Krueger. And let's talk about the commitment that just happened. We watched it on television. One of your guys, Woody, Mecole Hardman, 5-star athlete, commits to Georgia. What do you think about that?
Boy, it was crazy. You know, Mecole, a guy who loved drama, kept us guessing every step of the way. His header image on Twitter might still be Ohio State. He loved them so much. But when it came down to it, Georgia always was a school for him. He's from Granite City, right up the road, Elberton, Georgia, a place where they love Georgia. And I just think having that big announcement at his school probably wasn't going to get away from the Dogs.
And talking about him as a player, I mean, obviously we've seen him play at a number of camps and events. You know, a guy that just brings a lot of flash and swag to the table. We saw him play quarterback for his high school, but he could play anywhere. You know, how do you project him going forward there as he starts his career with Georgia?
Well, he identifies himself as an athlete. If you look at him as a player, I think this is a guy that is best suited at wide receiver. Just dynamic with the ball in his hands, super fast. I mean, we've seen him make all kinds of plays all over the field. And in the camp setting, he's just basically uncoverable. We saw him at Charlotte. We saw him at the 5-Star Challenge. And I've seen him in school camps as well. And then a little bit of a potential on the defensive side of the ball as well. I mean, he can do a little bit there. He played quarterback, as you mentioned, but I think X factor with the ball in his hands in Georgia's offense, a Kenyon Drake type role like we saw at Alabama, I think is the best way for him.
So that gets things rolling here with the SEC commitments, and obviously the first commitment that we saw, well, maybe not obviously to you, but the first commitment that we watched this morning, you were periscoping, we saw Nigel Warrior pick Tennessee. Guys, who wants to weigh in on Nigel Warrior making that selection, his impact, and the type of player that he is?
Well, I'll talk about it. He's my guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one, though, that we kind of expected, right? It's been like a pretty quiet signing day thus far. No curveballs. I think we came in here knowing that he was going to pick Tennessee, and he kind of did what we expected.
It was interesting because we heard a lot of talk of, Auburn is trending, which is
it's a great recruiting buzzword. It's trending.
Auburn was trending, but I guess they didn't trend. They didn't make the top spot worldwide. We knew he was going to Tennessee because his dad played at Tennessee. It was pretty obvious. Tennessee stopped recruiting other safeties, so you know that was a done deal.
Okay, so Rob, maybe something that's maybe a little more tailored towards you. Brian Burns making a commitment to Florida State. Florida State, one of the schools that we had targeted coming into today as a contender for the recruiting national title. This is a good start for them getting Brian Burns' commitment.
Yeah, it's another one that kind of sticks with the theme of the morning so far anyway, of guys going where we kind of expected them to go. I think this one hurts long-term, maybe not long-term, but short-term for Miami, because this is the kind of guy that got away from them because of the coaching change. I think he was very high on Miami early in the process. Everything that happened on the field at Miami happened. The coaching was shaken up, and next thing you know, he starts trending towards Florida State. Picks Florida State, and Florida State gets what they get with Burns. I mean, he's a long, athletic, quick speed rusher who's really put on a lot of weight. I think you noted that at the Army game. Between when we saw him in the spring to when we've seen him now, he's bulked up. He looked a little slight before the season, and now he's really turned into a college-ready looking prospect.
Definitely Lorenzo Carter type guy.
Sure.
I guess it would be someone we would compare him to. Also, worth noting, it was weird that you mentioned things switched like that because it seemed like he was going to Georgia when Mark Richt was there. Mark Richt goes to Miami, and then he ends up at Florida State.
Florida State wins a war of attrition here, maybe in a way where he wants to go different places, and things just kind of fall apart for him, and it never fits in, and Florida State's there to pick up the pieces.
So there we go, off and running here on National Signing Day. It's been a very busy, raucous morning. Radio interviews. We've got interviews with players going on. All sorts of live streaming issues.
Trending towards catastrophe.
Anything's trending. So stick with us. We got plenty more pandemonium on the way here on Rivals.com.